Welcome back everyone to my weekly series where I introduce you to new games to play on Roblox. If you like finding new games, please support the series by hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. Now this is episode 4, so if you want to watch all 3 of the previous episodes, you can do so by checking out the links in the description, or you can check out the previous video by clicking on the link on the top right. This week we have a few different action games. We have a survival game for you to check out, a few simulators, that's right, I'm including a couple of simulators, these are special, and some story games for you to check out as well. Starting with one of the most anticipated game releases for 2023 is Break-In 2. This game just came out like 4 days ago, and it is super fun. I've already got all the badges. You've probably seen some of the videos that I posted on how to get one of the badges, and definitely expect more this week. I have a couple more coming for you, but Break-In 2 is out, and it is here. Cracky surprised everyone. A lot of people didn't think this game was going to come out this year, and sure enough, he completed it and launched it, and it's awesome. So if you're one of those people who have never played a single game of Break-In and have no idea what Break-In is or Break-In 2 is, I'm going to give you the quick version, okay? I'm not going to do a whole long video on this. I'm just going to give you the quick version. Break-In is a story-based game. You all load up in a vehicle, you head off together, you go to your destination, and bad things start to happen. As the name says, people break in, right? So they break into your house, but in this version, you're breaking into their house. It's a little different. You're not the bad guys. We kind of stumble upon this warehouse here, and it so happens that, you know, that the bad guys are there. Now, the difference between this story game and other story games is the experience can change quite a bit. For example, if you go and tame the dog, now the dog can help you battle the bad guys. Or, you know, in the original Break-In, you could have different boss experiences. So based on the decisions that you make, you might have a different ending altogether. And there's lots and lots of badges for you to grind. I love this game because every single time you go in, it is a little different, especially depending on the people that you're playing with. Plus, the boss fights are really cool. Now, moving into a slightly different style of game is running from the internet. I know that sounds a little weird because it sounds like that's part of a sentence, but no. The game that we're talking about is called Running from the Internet. This one was recommended by Ninja Doge Was Taken. Now, I saw this game a few times on Roblox, and I was like, whatever, I'm not going to play that because it looks like the next bot, and I'm not into the whole next bot stuff. It's just a little weird for me. But this game is actually really fun, okay? You don't even have to like any of that kind of stuff. Any of the next bot, any of that weirdness, the internet memes and all that. You don't have to like any of that. This game is actually really fun, okay? It's kind of like Mario Kart meets an arena shooter. So you jump through these little question mark boxes, you get a random weapon out of your loadout so you can customize what you get out of these things, and then you throw them at bad guys, your enemies, like other players, or if you're doing like a PvE round. The mechanics are really good. The weapons are fun. Jumping around and stuff feels real good. The like movement feels good. It's a solid game. So if you're looking for just like a really cool like shooter arena style game, but without being a shooter and not very sweaty, like you can sweat in the game, but you don't have to. It's really easy to play. Definitely check this game out. Next up is the first simulator I'm going to mention. We got one more simulator after this, but the first one is Supermarket Simulator. Now, this one was recommended a lot, and I kept ignoring your comments. I'm sorry that I did it, okay? I'm sorry that I ignored your Supermarket Simulator recommendations. I just don't like featuring simulators in these videos. But this one's just a little different of a style. It's kind of like a My Restaurant feel to it, and there's been a lot of games like this, and this one was actually pretty cool. It feels actually a little bit more like a Tycoon as well, so it's kind of like Simulator meets Tycoon. It's not super cheesy. I really don't like playing all these arm wrestle simulator type games anymore. I used to play a lot of these simulators in the past. Don't really like them as much. I do have one more simulator we're going to cover in a little bit that's kind of like that, but it actually is pretty cool. But yeah, so Supermarket Simulator, I like it. I like the concept. You have to hire people. There's a lot of automation involved, so the more people you hire, just like My Restaurant, you know, you got people that are going to restock your shelves, cash people out. Still, this game is pretty cool. I liked it. Pretty fresh too, so definitely go check that one out. Next up is another simulator, and if you hate simulators, you only have to suffer with this one. This one's kind of cheese, but also kind of cool. So fans of Hamilton will be very happy to see this game has Hamilton music in it. So if you've never heard of Hamilton, the musical, maybe you're too young to really care about Hamilton, the musical, totally get it, understand. A lot of, I think, older crowd are going to dig this because the music's really good in Hamilton. I enjoy it. It's a little bit more upbeat. It's not like historical Hamilton. It's kind kind of more like a fictional version of Hamilton. So still really cool. I like the music. The simulator aspect of this is really, really simple. There's no real fighting. There's no combat in here. The first time you log into the game, you kind of think it's going to be like a Blocks Fruits kind of style combat game, but there's no combat. Literally, at least that I've seen yet. You go in, you get your little companions. Technically, they attack the enemies, but they're just coins. It's Pet Simulator X. Literally, this game's just Pet Simulator X with some cool music behind it. Not really my style of games these days, but I did enjoy it because I wanted to hear different tracks of music. It's basically just a promotional game. So if you're looking for something really amazing that you're going to grind the rest of your year, this is not it, but just go enjoy this one if you like Hamilton. Now, Flee the Facility fans are going to really enjoy this one. This one is called DAYBREAK. This one was recommended by Noob of the Games 2717. It's kind of crazy. So if you ever played Dead by Daylight, this is a non-Roblox game, right? Dead by Daylight, it's more like a Steam game. And I played that game like a ton. Before I even started playing Roblox, I played Dead by Daylight like endless hours before they released all their new like killers and stuff. This DAYBREAK game is probably the best translation that I've seen for Dead by Daylight. There's a couple others that have tried it with the whole generator thing and all that. And so like, you know, in Flee the Facility where you hack the computers, instead in DAYBREAK, or at least even Dead by Daylight, it's the same thing, but instead of, you know, doing keyboards and stuff, you have, and hacking a computer, you have generators you need to repair to be able to unlock the exits. Now, what's cool about this game though, is they have a ton of different like survivors you can choose from, like a ton of them. And same for killers. They have a huge variety of killers you can be. It just gives a lot of variety, I think, to the experience. So if you like these kind of like escape the killer style games, or you want to be the killer and like, you know, wipe all the players out, this one's definitely worth checking out. It's pretty well polished. The only thing I don't like about these style games is you have to wait so long for you to be able to even play. That's why I don't always grind Flee the Facilities. You know, I just kind of get bored watching. I just want to play. I want to get back in and play. So that's why I don't really grind this style game myself. But if you want to check out another one of these, this is a great one to check out. Just to be clear on DAYBREAK, by the way, this is the new chapter. This is essentially like an all new version of DAYBREAK. So if you're wondering why I'm showing a bit of an older version, this is because this game got a full revamp. All right, so next up we have The Office Experience, which is a scary game. I mean, I guess you can call it scary. I mean, it's supposed to be in that category, but it is not scary to me. At least it wasn't scary for me. It's a real simple, like, kind of story game where you are working in an office, and of course you need to stay for a couple extra nights, and while the boss and everyone's out of town. So you had to go on a trip, so of course he leaves you to having to deal with keeping the place working, running. You know, you need to keep the power on, that kind of stuff. Typical, like, scary story game that you've probably seen a million times, but this one's just, you know, kind of simple, real quick. Like I said, maybe like less than 10-minute kind of experience. As long as you follow the instructions, it's real simple. It's really hard to fail this game and not survive. Just, it kind of tells you exactly what you need to do. So it's not really like one of those games where, you know, you got to figure out a bunch of puzzles and such. Just follow along and you've got it. So it's one of those easy, scary games to check out. Next up is a game called Guts and Black Powder. This one was recommended by Wall9044. This is a zombie style survival game set in the Napoleonic Wars kind of era. So it like takes you way back. And so you got like muskets. That's your gun, is a musket. That's why the black powder's in there. It's kind of interesting and unique. You have to survive like the horde that kind of chases you around. You have like different puzzles and objectives you need to do. For example, at one point you got to like roll some barrels down, line them up, blow them up so that you could get through a wall. You got to like build a bridge. You got to like bring a lift up and things like that. So there's a lot of objectives for you to be able to get through. And all the while your team's killing zombies while you're trying to complete these objectives. So it feels very like cinematic in a sense that you're trying to escape essentially. Now there are different modes, I guess, that you could play. I only played one of them and I really enjoyed it. It's very challenging, not likely to survive, but if you do, it's very rewarding. So definitely fun if you like zombie games and shooters. And of course you got a sword for melee and such. It's just an interesting twist on the typical zombie shooters you usually see. And considering the game's only been out for a month, like 11 million visits, that's pretty impressive. Next up is a game you probably saw in my upcoming Roblox games video a while back, and sure enough, the game has finally released, at least in kind of like a open alpha. But previously, it was a paid closed alpha, only kind of experience, and it wasn't finished at all. There was like a lot of missing, gameplay. But the game is now out, so you don't have to like pay to get access. It's still just as polished and beautiful as ever. You're gonna love checking this game out. It is hard, but it's not that bad. Like they kind of guide you. It's kind of like open world sandbox kind of survival, but it's not that bad. They still do, they still tell you what to do. The UI is pretty intuitive. Game feels great, and they also announced that they have mobile support. So if you're a mobile player, you're going to be happy to hear that you can try the game out on mobile. So you're probably going to see lots of updates coming up for this game. So if you're looking for something a little bit more challenging and just really cool, Derelict should be for you. Like, I really want to get into this game. I would love to make like a dedicated series to it. It'd be kind of cool, but we'll see. I just lately haven't had any time. I've been working on stuff. In fact, speaking of, shameless plug, okay? This is full disclosure. This is my game that I worked with Crack OP on, and that is rock, paper, scissors battles. This is a game that was inspired by shadowboxing. So if you ever played the shadowboxing style game where, essentially it's kind of like the rock, paper, scissors kind of format. Yeah, we made a rock, paper, scissors version of that. I released it. It is now out on Roblox. I'll link it in the description along with all the games I just mentioned. And pretty soon we'll have a limited UGC event for this. So make sure you get in there, play. You're going to want to rank up a bit because you won't be able to go into the limited UGC event unless you're a certain level. So make sure you get in there, level up a little bit. At least I'd say like 3 levels or so, and you should be in a good spot. But definitely check out rock, paper, scissors battle. This is, like I said, my own game, shameless plug. I do play it a lot just because who doesn't like rock, paper, scissors? I love playing that. So yeah, anyway, check that out. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, especially if you like these kinds of videos to be able to discover new content to play on Roblox. If there are any new Roblox games that you have been playing or looking forward to, please do let me know in the comments below. If I include it, maybe I'll give you a shout out, especially if I discover the game through your comment. Also, a reminder, I see a lot of recommendations for older games, but I'm trying to keep things focused on newer games, so usually under year old. Until next time, thanks again for watching, and I'm gonna go grind some Roblox games. Peace.